Rappers tend to have issues with law enforcement, it's nothing new, but NBA YoungBoy takes it to an entire new level. Here's NBA YoungBoy's criminal history over the years. So, NBA YoungBoy's first documented arrest dates back on November 28th of 2016. US Marshals arrested NBA YoungBoy in Austin, Texas for 2 counts of attempting to take somebody's life. Now, this is an incident that actually happened in the past before getting arrested, and this ended up happening on November 2nd of 2016 in Louisiana. Sources claim that NBA YoungBoy and another man allegedly hopped out of a vehicle that was parked with firearms and started lighting up a group of people on the 2000 block of Kentucky Street in Baton Rouge. Witnesses at the scene described it as a GTA type event happening in the middle of the street. Shortly after being officially charged and booked into jail, NBA YoungBoy was taken into a separate jail where he was then held on $200,000 bond. After spending almost 7 months in jail awaiting his trial to start, a court hearing was then granted where NBA YoungBoy ended up confessing to firing a firearm multiple times during the drive-by that happened on the 2000 block of Kentucky Street. For NBA YoungBoy confessing in court, the prosecutor offered a plea deal to YoungBoy for a lesser charge in exchange for a guilty plea. The deal was that if NBA YoungBoy pled guilty to the charges, they would then be reduced to 1 count of using a firearm in public, rather than the charges of attempting to take somebody's life. Now, this was a no-brainer for NBA YoungBoy. He confessed and took the generous plea deal and then went on his way. YoungBoy was then released on $50,000 bond, which allowed him to go home that same day. NBA YoungBoy would then release some of his biggest songs, such as Untouchable, but sadly, his freedom wouldn't last too long. NBA YoungBoy would then be arrested on February 24th of 2018. NBA YoungBoy was arrested in Tallahassee, Florida, at his own concert while getting ready to get on stage. Police then swarmed NBA YoungBoy's dressing room and also arrested him in the process. NBA YoungBoy was arrested for alleged domestic issues with an ex-girlfriend as well as firearms. Now, these charges stemmed from an alleged altercation with his ex-girlfriend Jeanette Jackson. Hotel surveillance footage was released of NBA YoungBoy having an incident with Jeanette in the hallway of a hotel. With the surveillance footage being leaked from an alleged hotel worker, Jackson then went on social media, addressed the charges against NBA YoungBoy, and claimed that the charges should be dropped as they were just playing around in the hallway. It was nothing serious. NBA YoungBoy was then transferred to county jail in Georgia on multiple charges, and 2 of them being felonies. Luckily though, he was released on March 16th on $75,000 bail. But you guys will not believe this next arrest. Now fast forward to February 11th of 2019, once again at another hotel. NBA YoungBoy was staying in downtown Atlanta in a hotel called the Hyatt House Hotel. A housekeeper was assigned to clean his room around noon, and NBA YoungBoy was with a female friend. Now at the time, NBA YoungBoy and this female friend, they did not want to be bothered. They didn't want their room cleaned and told the housekeeper to come back tomorrow. The housekeeper was not having it. The hotel room was supposed to be empty for cleaning. NBA YoungBoy was told by the manager of the hotel to exit the room around noon for a mandatory cleaning. Now the housekeeper entered the room after several knocks. NBA YoungBoy then demanded that she leaves and told her to leave the room very aggressively. And that's when YoungBoy's female friend then demanded it herself, and she ended up using some physical force for it to happen. A massive altercation ends up breaking out in the room, which ends up leading into the hallway of the hotel, where a different hotel employee ended up running over to help out the housekeeper. NBA YoungBoy was then arrested again for getting charges of disorderly conduct with physical obstruction, as well as possession charges, which pretty much explains why he didn't want the housekeeper in the room. But luckily, in the end, all of the final charges ended up just being 2 misdemeanors, so it's not that big of a deal. Although, the story, it never ends with NBA YoungBoy. Now, on May 17th, 2019, according to multiple news outlets, NBA YoungBoy and his team were leaving a resort in Florida. He was scheduled to perform at a festival in Miami. Reports say that around 1:30 p.m., firearms were used outside of the hotel after NBA YoungBoy's team got into a heated argument with another group of people. Both parties then exchanged firearm uses, and a total of 3 people were affected in the entire situation. Police then immediately arrested NBA YoungBoy and kept him in jail for questioning, until he was released later that night without any charges being on his record. Luckily for NBA YoungBoy in Florida, they have a stand your own ground law. YoungBoy ended up claiming that this was a targeted incident against him, which all he was doing at the time was defending himself and his team, so he got off the hook. And finally, NBA YoungBoy's most recent case and why he's actually in jail right now. NBA YoungBoy was arrested last year for charges of 14 firearms and substances. A year ago, NBA YoungBoy was then released on bond until the trial starts, or whenever law enforcement wants him back in jail for questioning or for when the trial starts. And well, NBA YoungBoy was told to turn himself in for the trial to start, and NBA YoungBoy was a no-show. NBA YoungBoy then decided to avoid law enforcement at all costs, which then made the FBI get involved, which made things get ugly very fast. NBA YoungBoy was leaving his mansion in his vehicle by himself, without knowing that down the street, there was FBI doing a stakeout on his house waiting for him to leave. NBA YoungBoy was then spotted going onto the highway. He was directed to pull over his vehicle on the highway. NBA YoungBoy then started pulling over his vehicle and listening to what the officer had to say. Once his car was pulled over, the law enforcement man ended up getting out of his vehicle, and as soon as he was about to close his vehicle's door, that's when NBA YoungBoy ended up stepping on the gas and started going straight down the highway. NBA YoungBoy was then flooring his vehicle down the highway. An insane high-speed chase ended up going down. Traffic did start to become an issue for YoungBoy, which made him turn off of the highway and continued the chase on the regular roads. Once getting to a red light, NBA YoungBoy hopped out of his car and took the chase on foot. YoungBoy was wearing skinny jeans, wearing huge diamond chains, as well as some designer sneakers. Definitely not the right apparel to be wearing during an FBI chase down, but he made it work, sorta. Now, the FBI set up a trap around the area of canine units, roadblocks, and a helicopter. NBA YoungBoy then hopped a fence and cut through some houses' backyards. Weirdly enough, turns out he actually ended up running through a fan's backyard who cheered on NBA YoungBoy, telling him to run faster. NBA YoungBoy was sadly then arrested and taken into county jail, where he's currently staying awaiting trial. Now, these are just some of NBA YoungBoy's arrests. NBA YoungBoy has been arrested around 13 to 15 times, and if I ended up describing all of them, this video would be around 30 minutes. But here is just a look of some of NBA YoungBoy's cases and the criminal history over the years. I'm out, peace.